I'm 300 days a year on the water.
All right, bro.
Every day, I'm the best charter captain you'll ever meet in your mother.
All right, bro.
Cuss me out.
Chill, bro. Chill, bro, please.
What's up, everyone? So got another reaction for you. This one, again, I'm trying to bring you guys some different stuff, but it's just plucked from the news, and this is from another content creator that I enjoy, Rock Off TV. So if you're familiar with this channel, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, you can go check him out. I'll try to leave a link in the description, but then there's some other contributors as well in this mix-up. So I'm responding or reacting to his video. So let's get into it.
Before I play you this video, here's a quick bit of context. The guy you're about to see is called Captain Brock Horner. He runs fishing charters in Florida and he used to be an Army Ranger. In this clip, he jumps onto a 22-year-old's boat and he starts trying to fight him. All because he accuses a young man of not having his lights on 2 nights prior to this confrontation. So let's take a look.
What, like 5 in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You cussing me out?
Nah, that was the dude in that boat. Were you the one that came through the middle of the bridge? Was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, I was here, but you ran in front of the other dude over there.
You were cussing me out, dude.
Bro, you ran right through the middle of the bridge while we were all fishing.
In the middle of the night, the guy didn't have any lights on.
Bro, we were all fishing here. The
Didn't have any lights on.
All right, bro, I'm not gonna do this with you, bro. I'm not gonna fucking do this with you, bro. Like, it's not the right time, bro.
You know the laws?
Bro, you can't come flying through the middle of the fucking bridge, bro.
Bullshit. Yes, I can.
All right, bro. What are you trying to do, bro?
What am I trying to
What are you trying to do, bro?
You want to fucking go?
I don't want to fucking go. I want you to get the fuck out of here.
Big tough guy?
Tough guy? You pulled up on me, motherfucker.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it?
Nah, shit. I'm fishing, you like, bro, get out of here. Like, what? What are you trying to do? Act like a tough guy in front of your buddies?
No, I'm not. Dude, all these motherfuckers know I'm tough, motherfucker.
Bro, all right, bro.
You know what?
Get going, bro.
Because we're all fucking war veterans. We're all raised.
Well, thank you for your service, bro.
And you're gonna talk shit.
Thank you for your service, bro. But that doesn't give you the right. All right, bro. All right, whatever. I appreciate you for your service, bro. But you don't got to run through the middle of the bridge, bro.
Dude, if your guy doesn't have his fucking lights
That's
on,
not my guy, bro. That's just another fucking dude, bro.
you have to have lights on.
My lights were on, bro. My lights were on.
Somebody hits you, guess what the happens? You die, nothing happens to me.
Right, okay, bro. Keep thinking that.
No, that's the fucking truth, dude.
All right, bro. Keep thinking that.
Put your fucking lights on.
Bro, my lights were on. I wasn't sitting there. Okay, that's not my dude, bro.
Cuss me the fuck out for it.
Bro, I said, bro, you almost fucking hit him. The other dude was fucking cussing you out.
I almost hit him because he didn't have his motherfucking lights on.
Bro, you shouldn't come flying through the middle of the bridge. You know people fish here, bro.
Dude,
I'm sorry, man. I don't know if that's what you want to hear, bro.
yeah, you should apologize, motherfucker.
But, bro,
On the water more than you can possibly fathom in your wild motherfucking dreams.
me too, bro.
Asking somebody what do you want to do or what you want to do, that's waving a red flag in front of a raging bull. Like, man, that's a bold move. And I get where we're in a society where people think they can just talk to each other, but there's still a generation and a part of society that will stop talking at some point and start talking with these. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying it is what it is. And people need to learn to survive the encounters. We're not impenetrable. We're not bulletproof. We're not a lot of things, you know, resistant from getting beat up and things like that. You can get injured quickly. This young man, I get where he was coming from, and if it wasn't him, at some point you just got to leave it alone. Take your L, take your, you know, you're yelling at from the guy or whatever, and just move on in the name of safety, in the name of just getting out of that, because this could have gone really bad. But let's keep going, see what happens.
Here we go.
I'm out here all the time, bro.
I'm 300 days a year on the motherfucking water.
All right,
Every
bro.
day, I'm the best charter captain you'll ever meet in your motherfucking life.
All right, bro.
If you cuss me out.
Chill, bro. Chill, bro. Please, bro.
Don't hit the fucking mouth.
Please, okay, please, bro. Please, bro. Please, bro. Bro, I'm a kid, bro. Please.
Apologize.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
You're gonna cuss me the f
All right, bro.
in the middle of the
No, bro. Please, bro. Please,
Take me back to my
bro.
boat.
Okay. Please.
You apologize.
I'm sorry, bro. That was not me, bro.
Yes, it was.
I know I was here, but my buddy was
Take
on the
me
boat.
back to my fucking
Sir,
boat.
I'm a kid, bro. Please,
I
bro.
don't care. You don't cuss me
Yes,
the f
sir.
out.
All
and
right.
talk shit to me, motherfucker.
Yes, sir.
You don't do it.
I'm sorry, man. I wasn't like cussing you out
Yes,
though, bro.
you were, dude.
I was driving the boat.
Did
Okay.
you not call me a fucking
No, bro.
Yes,
that was
you did,
that was my friend on the. Okay, I'm sorry, bro.
That was your friend on the boat.
I'm sorry, bro.
You and your motherfucking friend are looking at it and come
Yes,
on your
sir.
boat and f you both up.
Yes, sir.
Do it again and watch what fucking happens.
Get back on this boat.
Don't fucking do it again.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, bro. Like, I appreciate y'all, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
The wrong motherfucker.
Bro, yes, sir.
So clearly that guy is really unhinged and he's got a lot of issues going on. But here's the thought that I have, and I'm going to start with the young man. I'm not going to call this guy a kid. He kept yelling he was a kid. He's 22. I get it. You're a kid in the sense of like not having a whole lot of life experience, but if you're, he kept saying I'm a kid. You're not a kid. You're an adult at this point. You can vote. You can be drafted. You can drink alcohol, buy cigarettes, rent a car, like all of these things. Go to the electric chair. You're an adult. So that being said, if you know that you are outgunned, outmanned, whatever it is, I'm not saying that you have to wave the white flag and beg for mercy or things like that, which he did, by the way. But if you know that the situation's getting bad, survive your encounters. And by that, I mean, I counted, and there were roughly 66 or 7 bros that he called this guy. I don't think that the guy was like filtering that, but I still think that there's a part of it. Sometimes you have to just really switch up. There were 7 sirs. But there's a point where you have to just stop trying to match the energy that you don't have. That kid wasn't crazy like this guy was. So don't try to match it by trying to yell back or trying to prove a point. When you just know it's going bad, you got to know that it's going bad. And I'll give him the one caveat to say kid, as in a very young man who doesn't have a whole lot of life experience. So maybe he just didn't know better and thought that it was just okay, or because he had a camera, he would be safe. This was a bad situation because there weren't too many people around and you were on water. That guy could have thrown you into the water. That guy could have punched you and you fell in the water. The young man could have punched him in defense and he fell in the water. Like, there's a lot of bad things that could have happened around that, and with the wrong person, it could have really ended in a fatal way. So the guy jumping on the boat, if it was Florida, if I'm not mistaken, isn't this the state where we all learned from the Trayvon Martin case what stand your ground was? So I don't know if that would qualify for this, but we still live in a society where people do that for less, and the captain is lucky that kid only aimed a camera at him and not something else that could have been lethal. But that said, there's no excuse for what this guy did. I'm just pointing out some things for the young guy and a lot of other young people, or anybody who just doesn't have the energy or will to want to match somebody's crazy like that. Just survive your encounter. And it's not being a punk. It's not being weak. There's more strength in walking away from fights. You win all the fights you walk away from. So let's keep going.
I do feel bad for the young guy, but at 22 you're not a kid anymore, you're a man. You got to learn how to stand your ground and defend yourself, because the world's full of dickheads like this, and they're not going to see you like a boy anymore. They see you as another man. When you have a family one day that you got to protect and provide for, this isn't how you can react. And this doesn't change the fact that this guy is an absolute dickhead, and he's not defending his business, he's not making a point, he's just bullying someone that's weaker than him to look like the tough guy. And the thing is about bullies, it usually doesn't end too well for him, like it didn't end too well for this guy.
3 days later.
Brock Horner, a local charter captain, is now facing a first-degree felony, charged with burglary with assault or battery. Punta Gorda police say he boarded another man's boat during a confrontation that happened under the Gilchrist Bridge on April 1st. The video, viewed millions of times, shows Horner yelling at 22-year-old Gage Tolles. Punta Gorda Police Chief Pam Smith said Horner was arrested Friday night in Port Charlotte.
You going to jail?
You're going to jail.
And even though he's been released on a $20,000 bond, since the video's come out, his business has completely collapsed. Apparently his family's also getting abuse over it too, which isn't cool because it's not their fault he's a dickhead. And just to be clear, this isn't some sort of out of character meltdown. He's got previous DUI, felony battery, probation violations, all the way back to his uni days. Now his lawyers come out saying that he's sorry and they're blaming it on a brain injury from combat. And to be fair, Horner did serve in Iraq and Afghanistan. He's officially listed as 100% disabled because of that injury. But I just don't buy it when the lawyer says one day doesn't define a man. Because when you look at the charges even from before he served and you see the way he keeps behaving, it's not just one day, is it?
So I never served, so I don't know what combat in a war sense looks like. I don't know what the traumas associated, and I do know people who have served and have been in combat zones and are disabled and things like that, and I can honestly say not a one of them, well, maybe with a couple exceptions, but not too many react with extreme violence like this. And this is just one of those things that if he's truly in that state, I don't want to see him get punished just to get punished, but I also want to see him get help because he needs help. If this is a common reaction, and clearly his arrest record showed that this was something that he was kind of like possibly before military combat and exposure to like lifelong trauma. But nevertheless, you still have to face a consequence because it sends a real message out to other people. That this would be okay if you have a legitimate, documented, built-in excuse. I'm not saying that all people that have disabilities through military service or any other service are making excuses, but this has to face a consequence. It still can be helped, but it still has to face a consequence. No different than if somebody wrecked a car and, you know, maybe not unalived anybody, but just caused widespread damage, but was an alcoholic. You can't just say, well, they've had problems and so therefore the damage they've caused should be excused. No, you can get help while you are having to serve your punishment. There's a consequence for actions, and this guy has to face some consequences.
Now, one thing I'm pretty sure about is the guys on the boat with him weren't 100% disabled veterans. They were just there watching. And you don't just sit back and watch that as a man, someone getting bullied. There comes a point where you got to say, look, enough is enough.
I didn't want to have to respond to this situation, but yes, I was in the boat. I was in the boat to film. I am not buddies with Brock or these guys. It was the first time I had met the three guys. We told Brock not to confront the guy. He's a 22-year-old kid. We told him not to do it. It happened and he went crazy yelling. If I could go back, I would say more. I do regret not saying more, but I just didn't want to be involved in the situation. I literally was just with Brock to film, to get content. It was a crazy display of temper that I've never seen. I regret not doing more. To the 22-year-old kid that got yelled at, I'm sorry. I could have done more. To the young guy, I'm sorry that it happened.
So to counter what I was talking about earlier, this young man being still an adult, he was still one-on-one. He was wildly outmatched just in strength, I'm sure, just in rage, just in a technique of fighting. There's a lot of things that if I'm just looking at it, because that kid didn't really seem to have the confidence to even just be able to walk away from it. He had to like really scream and beg and things like that. So, and it's no knock on that. There's no knock on that. But those other guys on the boat, you guys were dead wrong for just allowing that. And I heard at the end where somebody said, hey, get back on the boat. But somebody drove that boat over, it looked like, because it didn't look like the guy drove the boat over. So why would you allow that? And then everybody just sat there and was willing to be a witness. You're just willing to be a witness, or like I like to say, an accomplice. You guys should probably be charged too with something, because I know that there's not something legally that they did wrong, but man, that's not a good look. That's not a good look. And I think that even the guy who just apologized, I think, you know, that's going to be one of those things that should haunt you, because you did have the opportunity. And especially if you were one of the people who didn't know these people like that, if those were his boys or his crew and things like that, sure, maybe they're going to sit by because they've probably seen it before. But you, sir, you had the opportunity to at least say, hey, man, like, I don't want any part of this. I'm here to film. Let's just focus on the filming. And maybe the guy was acting out because he thought cameras were running and it was his moment to be the main character and really show out. But the fact of the matter is there were 4 other men on that boat, grown men, not young men. They were grown men who allowed this person to make such a decision. So I know you couldn't have tackled him, and it didn't have to be that serious, but I would think the voice of reason would have at least helped. And possibly long before it escalated, hey, why don't we check out that over there? That kid's nothing. Like, don't even worry about him. Let's get to the filming because we only have so much sun time left, or I got a dying battery or something. There's a lot of ways to get out of that. You all were dead wrong for that. And I hope that it's something that you really think about as you process what your manhood means. It's not just sitting around watching potential violence.
This type of aggressive behavior is not tolerated in our city. We're going to handle it accordingly as we have. We want to assure everybody that the city of Punta Gorda is a boater-friendly community.
The incident sparked backlash across social media, and out here in downtown Punta Gorda, people had plenty to say.
Once he crossed the line and jumped on the guy's boat, that's very problematic.
I do believe that charter captain should lose his license because that was absolutely unheard of.
You have to respect other people's property.
You got to be able to calm your emotions in situations like that.
Road rage is road rage, no matter where it is.
And this was just one of quite a few videos that I saw where people were outright challenging this guy. Hey, come get on my boat. I'm not a child. I'm not a kid. I'm not a young man, or whatever you want to call it. So there's some people that really want all the smoke with this guy. And rightfully so. He has it coming.
You don't just jump on someone's boat, try to fight them and then not stop when they're literally begging you to stop. I'm not trying to give excuses, but the guy's clearly got issues, and with the history, the outburst, the way he snaps, you probably shouldn't be around the public full stop, especially not in a job where you're meant to lead or deal with people in a calm way. And if the brain injury really is a part of it, which I'm not sure it is when you look at his history, then he needs a proper support system, because if it carries on like this, he's either going to hurt someone or himself. Until then, we've got to send him to Michael.
Get some help.
Breaking news. Viral boat captain arrested in Florida. Altercation. It finally happened. Brock Horner, the Florida charter boat captain who went viral for an unprovoked, aggressive outburst on the water, has been arrested. If you missed it, Horner was caught on video harassing and assaulting 22-year-old Gage Towles during a disturbing encounter in Charlotte Harbor. The video, posted by Gage himself, shows Horner unlawfully boarding the young man's boat, shouting threats, and claiming to be the best captain ever and a military veteran. The footage was outrageous, and people all over the internet have been calling for justice. Well, justice is being served. On Friday, April 4th, the Punta Gorda Police Department arrested 40-year-old Brock Horner, charging him with burglary with assault or battery. Authorities reviewed the viral video and confirmed that Horner had no right to board the vessel. His actions, threatening, harassing, and escalating the situation, crossed the line into criminal behavior. In addition to local police, Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation and the U.S. Coast Guard are now conducting separate investigations, and while it's not confirmed whether Horner will lose his captain's license, Brock reportedly has a string of prior arrests. The Punta Gorda police issued a strong statement, saying this type of aggressive and reckless behavior won't be tolerated on their waters or in their city. They emphasize their commitment to public safety for both residents and visitors. Hats off to the authorities for acting quickly on this.
So what are your thoughts on this? Where did I get wrong? Where was I right with the young kid, with the older guy, with the situation, with stand your ground, with the legal consequences, with penalties, with punishment, with getting him help? What are your thoughts on any of this? And have you had something like this? Because this is a little bit different. Sometimes road rage will look like this, but this was different because it was about fishing and things like that, or at least traffic on the water. So I'm sure you guys have probably had some experience like that or some thoughts on things like this. So what's your ace up the sleeve? Advice, comment, experience? Would love to hear it. Leave it in the chats. As always, subscriptions to the channel are free, and in this economy, free is a good thing. So it's my gift to you. And as always, I hope this finds everybody in your place, pursuit, or beginnings of total health, mind, body, and soul. Peace, love, unity, solidarity, and as always, subscriptions and videos. So stick around.